Yes.
Okay, great. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to Center for Conscious Kids, Conscious Living podcast series. I'm here today live in the studio in San Diego, California in April of 2018. And I'm here with my partner, colleague, and advanced energy healer, Annie Peterson Kalakar from the Brain Integration Institute. Welcome, Annie.
Hi, Ashley. Hi, everyone.
We're so glad you're here today. We today wanted to deepen everyone's experience with unlocking their ability to connect to their inner guidance through remote energy healing transmissions. So we'll go deeper into what that means. What I would like to share with that is we talk frequently to people about connecting to your inner guidance. And many times that means different things for different people. But mostly what we wanted to really just share is that part of us that has that aha moments, aha, I got it, okay, that inner voice that really speaks to us with clarity, with compassion, with kindness and understanding. And when we hear that sweet, supportive, nurturing voice inside of us, outside of maybe sometimes it's our moms, but really our own innate knowledge and understanding, we really get a lot of clarity in life, get a lot of guidance, a lot of support and direction, and sometimes in areas where we may feel uneasy about that. And we wanted to discuss this today in more depth to support you in communicating with your inner guidance. Annie, could you share with us just a little bit about the history of how we've started connecting with our inner guidance and what that means?
I would love to. Thank you. Well, turns out remote transmissions have been going on for a couple thousand years, probably longer. The earliest documentation that historians have is it goes back to the Buddhist tradition where the spiritual lineage would be transmitted through meditation from the Buddha or the highest priest to the disciples or the monks, so that all of the information could be transmitted and preserved. That was the reason they did this, so that all the knowledge would not be lost. So the modern day, grandmasters or Dalai Lama, all of these high level Buddhists, they do have the entire collection of knowledge, if you will, that has been transmitted since the Buddha. And that is where this process comes from. And it's not limited or restricted to them. So we love to do remote energy healing work, and we use it quite a bit in our practice. And we've also developed programs, which we'll talk about later.
Yes. Thank you for sharing that. I think it's really important to support people in understanding that transfer of knowledge, information, caring, understanding, emotions, different things can be transmitted from person to person very easily. And that's what we're here to do in the Brain Integration Institute, is to support you through different processes. So, for example, right now we have a program running that's called Psychic Enhancements. And what that really means in this moment through this program is an example of helping you clear away any blockages or ideas or thoughts or processes that disconnect us from our intuition, our intuitive gifts, our understanding. And when we feel disconnected from who we really are, what we're really here to do, what we're really here to express to ourselves and the world, we do feel ill, out of sorts, uncentered, ungrounded, out of balance. And so we created this program, and among many other programs, to support you in really overall connecting to your inner guidance so that you have that own inner guidance, inner navigation that comes from this companion, you could call it, of ours, of our own nature, that supports us in creating the world we'd like to manifest, see, and experience, and in relating to other people. And so when we start to talk about this, there are 3 points that we'd like to cover today to really help you deepen that idea of connecting to the inner guidance and what that means specifically for you. Annie, would you share with us those 3 points?
Happy to. Our goal is that you be confident in your connection to the energy container that we've constructed for you. Okay. And we're going to repeat this message often through this podcast, but the idea is your aptitude isn't dependent upon your abilities to receive. Okay, that's number one. The second point we want to make is that for any transmission to be optimal, connection to your inner guidance is essential because that is your companion for exploring the energies so that you know what to do with them. Okay. And then the last point that we're going to talk about is that our transmissions are very custom tailored for your unique needs, and they remain available to you to absorb and to integrate until the receiving process is complete. So that is what we're going to cover today. And I think, Ashley, we could probably go right into, talking about the container. But before we do that, I just want to squeeze in a tiny story here because I can still hear Ashley giggling in my head. We recently designed and created and tested this psychic enhancement program. And as part of the testing process, I stepped into the energy container and she asked me to describe it. It was just some spontaneous idea. And I said, okay, well, I kind of feel like I'm in like a lazy boy recliner or a Barca lounger, and I'm sort of levitating or floating, and I feel this amazing sensation of just kind of being weightless and surrounded by comforting, just pure comfort. Like there's no pain. I'm just in this mist, this cloud, and there's like rainbow mist everywhere around the outer edges of this thing. And I said, I feel totally private. And she just started laughing. She goes, that is exactly the container I set up every time I work on someone either in person in the office or remotely. But no one had ever described it back to her so succinctly that she just was having such a giggle to hear those, those words coming out of me. So it is a beautiful container is what I want to share that made it so easy to receive. The gentleness is so noteworthy. And that I think is really important because when there is gentleness and we treat ourselves with care, we can absorb huge amounts of information. And Ashley's going to talk about the container, and I'll just let you take it from here.
Absolutely. Well, which is amazing. It's just amazing is that from the support that's given to people and supported with them, I've pictured it as like this, like you described, a cloud. And it was so neat because you saw rainbow and rainbows mist all around. For the kids, what I do is give them a light instruction, and whatever way that they see, feel, or experience or hear, so that they can color that cloud any color they want. It can be white, it can be clear, it can be rainbow, it can be red, it can be blue, it can be green, it can be yellow, it can be any color, and it can shift and change colors and change patterns and dynamics just like the clouds do on our earth. And so it was so delightful to have you describe it that way, that's what you felt, because we want to invite people to, when they connect to the container, when they connect to the energy healing and that process, what happens is they have the ability to play with it, experience it, work with it. If they're inquisitive, ask questions and talk to it. Let it have the opportunity to talk back to you, and share with you, because that's what the experience of the energies here. Not only, I mean, sometimes we'll look into it seriously, right? And we'll look for a lesson, or we'll look for something that we need to learn, or we want to fix or correct in our lives. But what if sometimes, especially for the kids, is to play with the energy, is to interact with it? And how could they work it, mold it, shape it, create with it, develop it? bring other energies in to support it. For example, energies like maybe food. What kind of food works well for them when they eat their food? Like, what does the banana do inside their body? What does the apple do? What does drinking water feel like in the body? So there's lots of different opportunities to play with different energies in our world around us to explore and understand and feel more connected. And so that was the idea. And then we wanted to talk more directly to a lot of the adults as well about the container, the idea of how to enter it. What we did was, in this particular energy healing process, we created it being remote so that you're not directly talking to us per se. We're guiding the energy at that time, and we picked a time. We just picked 9 p.m. anywhere on the world. We consider that Annie coined the term time zone indifferent. And so what that means is the energy is delivered outside of time and space. But collectively, throughout the whole world, we've suspended time, if you could call that, at 9 p.m., your time. And what that did was that gave you the healing space for you to relax in your own environment, tune in, breathe, connect in all the ways that you want and would like to with the intentions that you have, and that it's an active, open participation. Some of our other programs we do for smaller children and other people is we deliver it at night while they're sleeping, and then they wake up to a new experience. With this program called Psychic Enhancements, what we wanted to do was have a deliberate action from the receiver, that would be you all, receiving the energy healing package, so that you could learn how and support, gain words to, and communicate to either us, others, or yourself about what that means, what you experienced, and where you're going with your process. Whether that's healing something, whether that's learning something, whether that's clearing something, right? So it can be all kinds of intentions. And what we wanted to do here was really provide this opportunity for people to deepen their sense of how to connect. Because as we were going through this process, we were recognizing that some people may have difficulty connecting. So in this process at 9 p.m., anywhere you are in the world, you sit down, lay down, tune in, and we begin to connect. And what we call this is an energy container. This energy container, the reason why we call it a container is it's not really contained energy, but the concept of it is because it's delivered deliberately to those who choose to participate. And the level of participation is, a small fee or a fee of some sort. And then it's a registration. And the reason why we have people register is because we need to know your email address or your name so that we can identify you to support you. Our whole goal is each week, it depends on how long we run the programs, but what we do is we intentionally send you an email so that it can help prepare you. What areas are we specifically working on with that energy container? And we decided to make it really specific and goal-oriented because that way you could tune into those concepts. It's not just like all out there and goes to your preference or your highest good or different sort of things, that it was very specific so that you could tune in and tune into that energy facilitation, which is information coming to your body. That's spiritual information, it's energetic information, mental, emotional, physical information that literally changes the cells in your body. So many different ways. That's why we created this container, so that it was a deliberate attention and focus towards that area. And that helps you then focus on how you're working with and developing this relationship with your own inner guidance. And I think it's just really fantastic because as adults, we learn how to do this. We can turn to the children and start to support them. Even just yesterday, I met with a family and the mom is pregnant. And I said, what if we started a meditation program where mom and dad and baby, gestating baby, starts doing a meditation? And this family picked right before dinner to let go of the day's activities and to calm and to center and to move into really good conversation, great relating, and really easy food eating and digesting. And I thought that that was a really great time to create a family meditation time. And so they're going to start doing that, even though mom is only 24 weeks pregnant. And I thought, wow, what does that do for the brain and nervous system of the baby, right? When they're learning, when mom and dad and everyone's calming before an activity. And then when they promised, and they are going to do it after the baby's born. So even right before dinner, even in the high chair or wherever baby is, they'll work on doing a daily meditation. And just think about that, what that means growing up meditating. So we talk about that, gaining our inner guidance, and we felt that people may have difficulty doing that. So we wanted to explain the container so that you could have access to it, understand, and know that it's there waiting for you. Annie has a great illustration that she's been practicing with her 6-year-old about how to receive the information. She has a little example of how I'll let you explain, Annie, how you explain that to your 6-year-old about receiving the package. Could you share for just a couple of seconds about what that is?
Are we talking about the beads on a string, or are we talking about the box?
We're talking about the box.
Ah, yes. Okay. Before I go into that story, I just want to reiterate that you don't have to be psychic or a highly sensitive person to receive a remote transmission. I think that's a big misconception in the world, because we target, based on what Ashley said, it's specific and unique to your name and registration. That is how we energetically find you.
Yes.
And so that's why we said at the beginning, your perceived abilities or aptitudes are not dependent upon your ability to receive. Okay, now we'll talk about this little example I have. My son is 6 years old, and I was doing some telepathy tests with him, which he loves. And I said, here is a box. And I said, it's just an energy box. I'm going to hand it to you. I put the word of one of these 3 colors in there, and you can either climb into the box and play with that word until you understand what it is, or you can take off the lid and listen to the sound of that word being said. And so he witnessed his father get it right off the bat, and his little competitive streak was right up there. But it was great because he did both methods and he was getting it. It took a little practice with, pairing colors, 2 choices and then 3 choices. And now it's like a game that he actually really enjoys, and it doesn't frustrate him so much.
Well, it's really great too, because he gives it back, right? I mean, he created a box and then he says, here's my box.
Yes. And Ashley and I actually did play his version of the game.
Yeah.
So he loved that it was a 2-way experience.
Yeah.
But I want to share how I personally have been experiencing in my mind, because I'm a very visual person. And I've been seeing the energy both, large, but that I can compress it down into a very small, almost like a pearl. Okay. And then I just put it on a string, and then I imagine putting that necklace around over my head and around my neck, and that I just carry that energy packet with me after I've explored it and received it throughout my days. And then, in this 12-week program, every time that I would do the process, I would add another bead to the string. Well, one of the things that you might be able to notice is when some of the beads are dropping off or missing, and that would indicate that you have completely absorbed and integrated the energy packet. So that's just a visualization that can help you process where you're at in terms of receiving and integrating. Let's see, there was something else I wanted to, yes. Ashley, you were talking about the levels of creativity, and I want to just say one little sentence about this. Everyone, feel free to create anything you want, okay? Anything you want to create as an image in your mind. This is your time to discover and explore. And I think it's really important that you also understand that because it is a collection of knowledge, like as I was saying, strings on a thread, if you miss it for some reason, there's no need to panic. It's available once it's sent out from us. So we send out week by week a very specific packet for each person's needs to be met. So that is your unique energy packet, and it's available until you access it and integrate it, okay? And again, the way you get there is through connection with your inner guidance. Now, I want to also emphasize that everyone's unique energy signature means that we're creating the packet for you, right? And it's not for you and 10 of your best friends because it's not going to meet their needs. That's how custom tailored we have made each packet. Now, there is something that people report and they get worried about, and I say, oh, don't worry about this. This is, take a deep breath. We all have monkey mind. I love monkey mind. It's how I get a lot of stuff done because it means I'm holding multiple states of awareness and tracking things, and my brain is just doing what it naturally does. So give your monkey mind a proper invitation to come along on the journey. Do not suppress it. Give it permission to go explore the energy, to notice everything, and to take it in and play with what it discovers, because that makes your monkey mind your best friend on this journey with you. And have no judgments. Just be completely judgment free about how your brain is participating in the whole process of receiving.
Well, it's really true. You can, with your monkey mind, right? You can, if monkey mind gets a little bit too excited and starts jumping off the walls and distracting you, maybe from your intent or your purpose, you can also create a bench, right? Or you could create an area where monkey mind could have a seat, or maybe a bean bag might be a good place. But you can create a little space and a place for monkey mind to go when you want to settle in, and or you have a specific purpose or intention or need. So what we're really explaining here is that there is no right or wrong way to do it. That each time,
exactly,
quite honestly, each time can be very, very different experience. And that's what keeps it fun and engaging and an opportunity for growth. If it kind of stayed the same every day, it wouldn't really keep you interested, quite honestly. And you might kind of fall away from that practice. But that practice allows you really to have mastery, understanding, and really go deeper in levels of intent to support yourself, others, and your life circumstances. And it even deepens, quite honestly, even when you're having this own internal experience, it deepens the way you relate. And what we're talking about here when you connect with your inner guidance is your relationship to yourself. And some days we relate good to ourselves and some days we really don't. And what if that's okay too? What if we say, okay, today is not a good day. I'm not relating to myself really good. My monkey mind seems to be running the show. So let the monkey mind play around the room. Let it have its needs met. So then it can actually take a few moments to settle down and move into the deeper parts of the wiser mind, the deeper mind, your enlightened self mind, your heart, your different organs, all different kinds of ways in which you relate to the world begin to open when that part gets its needs met and starts to settle down a little bit.
And then ask it to share with you what it noticed.
Very good. Absolutely. Absolutely. And we wanted to talk too a few moments about that idea of access points. So I want to bring everybody back to a little bit, just back to the moment of Annie's 6-year-old son grabbing the box, for example, the container. And what he did was he was a little bit confused too. Many people are about how to access energy, right? We don't talk about that in our normal everyday lives just yet. I think it's going to be great though, because I think we're going to start talking about a lot more. But in the meantime, what we do is, how would you like to unwrap it, right? Would you like to consider it as a gift? Is it wrapped in linen? Is it, how does it come delivered to you? What do you experience? Does it come as a whoosh? Does it come in as a cloud? Right? It can come in multitudes of ways to help you come in, center, balance, breathe, deepen your connection. And sometimes your inner guidance talks to us. Sometimes it shows us things. Sometimes it's there to just cradle us, nurture us, and support us. So there's many different ways that aspect of ourselves relates to ourselves. And you can grow it, develop it. And the more you talk to it, the deeper it goes, okay? And the deeper the relationship goes as well. And you'll start to see, I mean, I have several people close to me in my family, and they say to me, it never talks to me. I said, I know, sometimes maybe if hearing isn't our best attribute, right, that we can still talk to it. Ask your inner guidance to show you things, colors, shapes, pictures, images, ideas, thoughts, words. That's why Annie came up with the word of a color, right? She gave a word of a color to her son to unwrap. And so he could access that from seeing the word, the letters, like let's say it was yellow. So he could see YELLOW. Or he could see yellow and then say to Annie, oh, the word is yellow, right? So he saw he saw the color yellow, but he got to describe it as a word is yellow, but how he accessed it was through seeing colors. Okay, so we did that intentionally to pick a color because it had different attributes, right? A color is a color, or a color is a word. And we could use that to be able to support him in accessing it. And Annie took it to another level where she said, do you hear the word being spoken to you? And so that was an illustration of training him and supporting him and hearing his inner guidance talk to him, right? So that's what we're doing. That's a huge part of the energy package, is actually delivering methods specific for you that are specific to your tendencies of what you prefer to experience as far as sensory input. That would be hearing, touching, feeling, seeing. Okay? I'm hoping that makes a little bit more sense for everyone who's joining us. And if you do have any questions or concerns or want to clarify something, please do email us. We encourage it. Our email address is connect@brainintegrationinstitute.com, and we would love to hear any insights or aspects, because we are constantly refining and rebuilding and constructing as we get feedback from others about how this can be made simply, easily, and with gentle love and support. Annie, would you share with us again what those 3 caps were throughout?
Absolutely. So we want you to just approach with total confidence, okay? Your aptitude isn't dependent upon your abilities to receive. That means you don't have to be psychic or highly intuitive or a highly sensitive person. You're free. You're free to create what you want to create as an image in your mind. For a transmission to be optimal, you want to have connection to your inner guidance. That is your companion for exploring the energies, so you know what to do with them. And then lastly, our transmissions are custom tailored for your unique needs, and they remain available to you to absorb and integrate until the receiving process is complete. Now, if you've never tried a remote transmission before, we invite you to choose a program to experience. You can find them on our website under Buy a Program. And sign up for our mailing list, because we are currently in the development process for a whole line of remote transmissions for people to enjoy and to receive the healing energies. And getting on our mailing list assures you that you will get priority notice on new offerings from the Brain Integration Institute. And I just want to say thank you, everyone, for listening today. It's always a pleasure to present, and we certainly love the likes and the comments and the feedback everyone has been sharing with us. It's been a real pleasure to be doing these for everyone. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful day.